Hey everyone, welcome back to God First Channel. Today we've got something truly special. If you've ever struggled with relationships, whether it's with a partner, family, or friends, the advice we're about to dive into could change your life. We're talking about some of the most powerful relationship wisdom you can ever grab from this video. This video has shared countless insights on how we can build healthier, more meaningful relationships. And today we're focusing on this best advice when it comes to love, communication, and understanding one another. Let's kick things off with the basics. 3 key rules for relationships. The first and perhaps most crucial one emphasizes is honesty. It might sound straightforward, but we believe that being completely honest with your partner is one of the most important foundations for lasting love and respect. Truth is the fundamental requirement for any meaningful relationship. If you're hiding something, or if you're lying, it's like a poison in the system. It will eventually erode everything. You have to be truthful to yourself and to your partner. That's non-negotiable. Powerful words, right? This video makes it clear that the truth is the bedrock of any strong relationship. If you're hiding something, even if it seems insignificant, it creates a crack in the foundation. And over time, those cracks can spread, slowly undermining everything you've built together. Now, think about it for a second. When was the last time you told the truth about something difficult to admit? We all have moments where it's easier to avoid the uncomfortable truths, but those moments are exactly when honesty matters the most. Being vulnerable enough to be open with your partner, even when it's hard, is what builds true intimacy. The emphasis is that relationships thrive when both partners can be completely open and vulnerable with each other. But here's the thing, honesty doesn't just mean revealing the big secrets. It's also about sharing the little things, the thoughts you might normally keep to yourself, or those small concerns that seem trivial. This video even takes it further, suggesting that if you want a truly healthy relationship, you should avoid telling even small lies, no matter how insignificant they may seem. It's all about building trust, and trust doesn't happen overnight. It's built piece by piece with consistent, unwavering honesty. So ask yourself, how much trust is built with those small, seemingly harmless lies? Over time, they add up. But when both partners commit to truth, no matter how uncomfortable it might be, it strengthens the bond and lays the groundwork for a relationship based on mutual respect and understanding. The act of being honest, even when it's hard, creates a space where both partners feel safe to be themselves. It's a cornerstone for deepening the connection, and it's what makes a relationship resilient to the challenges that will inevitably come. In the end, honesty isn't just about telling the truth. It's about creating a culture of openness where both of you can trust each other completely. When you commit to this level of transparency, you're building something that lasts, and that is exactly what truly nourishes a relationship. One of the most powerful pieces of relationship advice is don't hide things from your partner. It might sound simple, but it's incredibly important, especially when it comes to conflicts and misunderstandings. And the reality is, we all do it from time to time, keeping things to ourselves because we think we're protecting the other person or avoiding confrontation. But the video perspective on this is eye-opening. If you have something on your mind, whether it's an insecurity, a fear, or even a small thought about the future, and you leave it unspoken, it doesn't go away. It builds up. It creates a wall between you and your partner. Over time, that wall gets higher and thicker, and it can get so big that it becomes nearly impossible to truly connect with each other. Communication, or lack of it, is what ultimately shapes the nature of your relationship. You see, the point here is that even small, seemingly insignificant things that we keep to ourselves can have a major impact on the intimacy and closeness in a relationship. It's easy to think that by keeping quiet about certain thoughts, feelings, or fears, we're actually protecting our partner or avoiding unnecessary drama. But in reality, this silence often causes more harm than good. It creates distance, and over time, that distance only grows. Think about it for a second. When was the last time you kept something from your partner, maybe to spare their feelings or avoid a difficult conversation? It might have felt like the right thing to do at the time, But did it actually solve anything in the long run? Probably not. Instead, it can leave you feeling isolated, disconnected, or even resentful. When we avoid sharing our true thoughts or feelings, we unintentionally create a barrier between ourselves and our partner. And over time, that barrier becomes harder to break down. It's like building up a wall brick by brick. Each unspoken word, each hidden thought, adds another layer. Eventually, it's hard to even remember why you put up the wall in the first place. This argues that if you truly want to build a strong, lasting bond with your partner, honesty is key. Even when it's difficult, you have to be willing to share everything, even the things you think might hurt or cause discomfort. Why? Because honesty, even about the tough stuff, creates trust. It creates a foundation where both partners feel safe and understood, knowing they can be vulnerable with one another without fear of judgment or rejection. Think about the relationships in your life. The strongest, most resilient ones are likely the ones where communication is open and transparent, where both people feel comfortable sharing their thoughts, even when it's uncomfortable. When you're willing to be vulnerable and let down those walls, the connection becomes deeper and trust is built. It's not always easy to speak up, especially about things that make us feel vulnerable or expose our insecurities. But this suggests that when we withhold parts of ourselves from our partner, we're essentially telling them they can't be trusted with the truth. And that kind of emotional distance is dangerous in a relationship. So here's the challenge. Next time you feel the urge to hold something back, whether it's a fear, a frustration, or even a small thought, ask yourself, is this something I should share with my partner? More often than not, the answer is yes. By being open, you create a relationship where both of you are in it together, fully and honestly. Remember, the small things left unsaid can build walls between you. But when you choose to be transparent, no matter how hard it might be in the moment, it helps to keep that wall from ever getting built in the first place. And that's the foundation for a relationship that's built to last. Now, let's dive into one of the most powerful lessons, taking responsibility for your own actions. This one is crucial because it can truly make or break a relationship. This is very clear that one of the most destructive things you can do in a relationship is to constantly blame your partner for everything that goes wrong. When things aren't going well in your relationship, the first thing you should do is look at yourself. Ask yourself, what am I contributing to this problem? How am I affecting the situation? It's easy to point fingers and blame your partner, but the mature thing to do is to take a hard look at your own actions and reactions. What role have I played? What can I do to make things better? Advice is crystal clear. Don't be a passive observer in your own relationship. If something feels off or there's tension, don't sit back and wait for the other person to fix it. Instead, look inward. Start with yourself. Own your actions, your words, and even your emotional responses. Now, I know this isn't always easy. It's natural to want to shift blame when things go wrong. We all have an instinct to defend ourselves, and sometimes pointing a finger at the other person can feel like the easier option. But understand that this kind of attitude won't help you grow or fix the relationship. It will only keep you stuck in a cycle of negativity and resentment. When both partners take responsibility for their actions, everything changes. Instead of a dynamic of blame and defensiveness, you start to create a space where both people are accountable. It's no longer you versus me, it's us working together. You stop seeing each other as adversaries and start seeing each other as teammates trying to solve a problem. Imagine the difference it would make in your relationship if both partners actively worked on themselves. If instead of accusing each other, you asked, "What can I do to improve this situation?" It's incredibly empowering to shift from a blame game to a mindset of growth and collaboration. When you take responsibility, you're not just improving your relationship, you're also improving yourself. You're choosing to be proactive rather than reactive, and that's an incredibly powerful place to be. You start to see how your actions, both big and small, affect your partner and the relationship as a whole. It's easy to get stuck in a pattern of blaming others when things aren't going well, but the true strength of a relationship comes from mutual responsibility. When both people can look at a situation honestly and say, this is what I can do differently, the relationship becomes more resilient and healthy. So, if you're facing challenges in your relationship, ask yourself, what can I do to improve things? Start with taking responsibility. Instead of pointing the finger, turn it inward. When both partners do this, they create a foundation of trust and respect, which ultimately transforms the relationship. Remember, it's not about being perfect. It's about taking ownership of your role and your impact on the relationship. And when both partners do that, amazing things can happen. Now, let's talk about something that can really make or break a relationship: how you handle conflict. One of the most fascinating and important emphases is not letting your partner become your enemy, especially during disagreements. It's completely normal for couples to clash from time to time, but what matters is how you handle those disagreements. When you argue with your partner, it's vital to remember that you're on the same side. You might have a difference of opinion, but the goal should never be to win the argument. It's to understand each other, to collaborate, and to find a way through the issue together. When you start seeing your partner as the enemy, when you think of them as someone you need to defeat, then you've already lost. The essence of the relationship is no longer about connection, it's about competition. The powerful point here: the moment you begin treating your partner as an adversary, the relationship shifts from a place of cooperation to one of opposition. It's no longer about solving the problem together, it's about defeating the other person. This is where resentment, bitterness, and division creep in. When you argue, ask yourself, what am I trying to achieve? Are you trying to be right? Or are you trying to understand your partner's perspective? Are you focused on winning? Or are you working toward a solution together? When both people approach conflict with the goal of understanding, not winning, disagreements can actually bring couples closer. Imagine that instead of seeing your partner as someone to fight, you view them as someone you're in a team with. You're both facing a problem, not each other. When you do this, it shifts the entire dynamic of the conflict. Suddenly, it's not about who's right or wrong. It's about working together, showing empathy, and figuring out how to move forward. The key here is empathy. When you approach an argument from a place of understanding, you start listening, not just waiting for your turn to speak. You begin to see your partner's perspective, their feelings, and their point of view, which allows for a deeper connection and resolution. Think about it this way. Every relationship has its ups and downs. There will always be moments of disagreement, but it's how you handle those moments that define the relationship. If both partners are focused on finding solutions instead of winning the argument, conflicts become an opportunity for growth, deeper understanding, and greater intimacy. By shifting your mindset to a place of collaboration rather than competition, you open up the space for growth. Instead of letting small issues build into resentment, you can use them as stepping stones to strengthen your bond. So next time you face a disagreement with your partner, remember this. Are you focused on understanding, or are you trying to be right? Treating your partner as an equal team member instead of an opponent will foster trust, respect, and a sense of partnership. Ultimately, it's not about who's right and who's wrong. It's about how you handle the disagreement and how you come together to move forward. When you work from a place of empathy, a disagreement can transform into a deeper connection and a stronger relationship. Now let's dive into one of the most powerful concepts in relationship advice: shared meaning. What exactly does that mean? This argues that for a relationship to truly thrive, both partners need to have a common vision, something that binds them together and gives the relationship a sense of purpose. When you and your partner don't share meaning, the relationship becomes hollow, it becomes shallow. You may be physically together, but you're not emotionally connected. You'll start to drift apart because you're not moving in the same direction. But when you have shared goals, values, and a vision for your future, the relationship transforms. It becomes a journey, a true partnership where both of you are actively contributing to a common cause. It's easy to think of shared meaning as something grand, like agreeing on major life goals, such as marriage, having children, or where to live. And yes, those things are important. But this reminds us that shared meaning is also about the small things. It's about the daily choices you make together, how you support one another's dreams, ambitions, and even the small moments that reinforce your bond. When you and your partner align on what truly matters to both of you, whether it's supporting each other's career paths, helping each other through personal struggles, or even the little rituals you share every day, it's like creating an unbreakable connection. You're not just two individuals sharing a space. You're two people actively building something meaningful together. This idea of shared meaning isn't just about having a similar vision for the future. It's about being on the same page in every aspect of life, from the big milestones to the everyday moments that shape your relationship. It's about the way you communicate, make decisions together, and support each other's growth. When both partners are invested in the same mission, whether that's building a life together or growing as individuals within the relationship, it creates an unshakable foundation. Think about it, relationships where both people share a vision, even if it's in the form of smaller personal goals, tend to last because there's a common direction. You're not just coexisting under one roof, you're actively participating in each other's lives. Every decision, no matter how small, is made with that shared meaning in mind, making the relationship feel purposeful and worthwhile. And here's the thing. When both partners are deeply invested in each other's journey, your connection will only grow stronger over time. You build resilience as a couple, and even in the face of challenges, you're more likely to stay united because you're working toward the same goals. So the key takeaway here is, don't just exist in your relationship, create something together. Whether it's shared values, shared dreams, or shared daily moments of care, make sure you both have something to look forward to and build upon together. When you do that, you're not just partners, you're a team with a mission, and that's what makes the bond unbreakable. So, if you and your partner are not quite aligned on what matters most, maybe it's time for a conversation, an honest, open one about where you both see your lives heading and what you want to achieve together. It can be the difference between drifting apart and growing together. All right, let's take a moment to reflect on everything we've covered today. Advice on relationships is simple, yet incredibly powerful. At the core of this teachings is the idea that relationships thrive on truth, responsibility, mutual respect, and shared meaning. First and foremost, it stresses the importance of honesty. The foundation of any meaningful relationship is truth. And honesty doesn't just mean telling the truth when it's easy. It means confronting uncomfortable truths, being vulnerable with your partner, and never hiding things that could affect the trust in your relationship. Next, taking responsibility is absolutely crucial. It argues that when something goes wrong, the immediate instinct should not be to point fingers. Instead, ask yourself, what role did I play in this situation? Taking responsibility means acknowledging your own flaws, actions, and mistakes. It means recognizing that both partners have a part in shaping the relationship, and by owning up to our own actions, we take power back to create a better future. Then there's the idea of mutual respect, which reminds us is essential in every aspect of life, but especially in relationships. When you treat your partner with respect, you create an environment where they feel safe, valued, and loved, but that respect is a two-way street. It requires you to also respect yourself, your boundaries, and your own needs. Finally, it talks about shared meaning, that deeper connection that both partners need to have. This isn't just about having the same goals or values, it's about creating a shared vision for the relationship. Whether it's your dreams, your daily lives, or how you support one another through challenges, shared meaning acts as the glue that binds you together. When you both see a common purpose in the relationship, the bond becomes unbreakable. So, to sum it all up, if you want to build a deeper, more meaningful connection with your partner, it starts with honesty. Always tell the truth, even when it's difficult. Take responsibility for your actions and the role you play in the relationship. Never allow your partner to become your enemy. Conflict is inevitable, but it's how you handle it that matters most. And finally, make sure you're working towards shared meaning together. That's how you create something lasting and powerful. Relationships aren't always easy, but with the right foundation, they can be some of the most rewarding parts of your life. So, take these lessons to heart, apply them in your own relationships, and see how they evolve over time. If you found this video helpful, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss a video. And I'd love to hear from you. What's the best relationship advice you've ever received? Drop a comment below, and let's continue the conversation. Remember, relationships aren't about being perfect. They're about growing together, supporting each other, and learning along the way. Keep growing, keep loving, and take care of those who matter most. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.